On today's episode of What You Working On, we've got our cultipacker. Very simple machine, there's really not much to it. However, our hydraulic hoses are super old and they leak, so we're just going to switch out the hoses on that. It's time to take a break from oil changes, maintenance, repairs, because we have got a little bit of work to do. Ooh, I got the corner in there. Teaser. I own a Brilliant seeder that I typically use to put our hay fields in. But this time, as you saw by the pallets, I have 3 types of seed. My seeder only has 2 boxes. So I thought I would take the opportunity to rent a piece of equipment that I almost bought instead of the Brilliant to see how I like it, see how it does. This is the Great Plains MPS 2611. So it is a multi-purpose seeder, 11 foot wide. This thing has got 3 different seed boxes on it. We've got 1, 2, and 3. This will allow me to set this thing one time and roll. And I can, the nice thing is with this one, you can turn off individual seed boxes by locking them out. So that is a cool feature. And the thing that this has that my Brilliant does not, and one of the main reasons why I rented it is my Brilliant has a solid wheel roller in the front. This one has spikes. So a couple of fields we're going to go into are bean stubble. And I am terrified that if I do any tillage on that field in the spring here, with the moisture being about that far below the surface, that I will absolutely ruin how smooth that field is and make it barely drivable if I try and do any tillage. So my thought process is, let's try this thing out with the spikes, see if it tears up some of the crop residue on the surface and give us a pretty good stand, because it does run. The packing wheel on the back is almost identical to the Brilliant. So that front spike goes through the field, it drops the seed behind it, and then that rear one I just showed you packs the ground tight behind it. So we're going to give this thing a shot. Next step here is I'm going to be calibrating the native grass box for our grass mix, and I'll get some video of doing that, and we'll get it set up to start putting seed in the ground. Okay, little snafu. Did not realize, as I'm a novice to seed sizes and different things, my seed for the grasses, pretty small. This seeder does have 3 boxes on it. However, the box that I was planning on using for the grass seed is a native grass seed box, which I'm assuming are much larger, because you can't see that, but this gear here, there's gaps around it. As soon as I started pouring seed in to try and calibrate this to measure it out, seed was just running out on the ground. So we've got to go with the actual seed box, grass seed box, which unfortunately is also the alfalfa box, and I'm doing both. And I was hoping to save a trip by being able to run grass in the rear box. That's not going to happen. Luckily, there's only one field that I need this box for both. Otherwise, all the other fields I'll be able to run the front and middle box. So that's the little snafu we've hit here. We've done what the book says as far as how many rotations. I took a guess, since it's a mix of grasses. It doesn't have a actual rate in the chart for that, so I took an educated guess, metered it out, and now we're going to do the weight test on it to see how many pounds per acre it would put out right now with this setting. Empty bucket, 2 pounds. I spilled a little. Cool, still 2 pounds. That doesn't help. All right, that scale only measures in half-pound increments. Normally, that would be fine for what that scale is for. However, we want 12 pounds of the acre, I think it was. We only need like 4.5 ounces of weight if I did my math correctly, but I'll look that up to make sure. So I need to figure out what scale I'm going to use to measure that properly. Attempt number 2, I found the baler scale. The scale I keep on the baler to weigh the bales when they come out to make sure we're at the right weight. 2.09 pounds. I have an identical, where'd it go? Identical empty bucket over here that we will weigh empty. See if that's, it's a good thing we didn't go off the first scale. 1.87. So we have 0.22 pounds of seed. We would want 0.275 pounds on this test. Our setting is at about 23, 24. So if my math is mathing, we did 0.22 pounds times 43.56 would be 9.58 pounds per acre. We're only shooting for 12. If I do the ratio of pounds per opening on the indicator, number-wise, then we want to be between, instead of being at like a 24, we want to be at like 25.5. So we are really close. I'm gonna adjust that, empty out the seed box, set it for alfalfa, and run the calibration again for alfalfa. I got to do 2 different calibrations on that, and then also on the front box for the last seed, we'll calibrate that one as well. So we got 3 more rounds of this to do. I'll set you all up on a time lapse, and we will see what we can crank out here. Alright, so that was a bit of a mess. Figuring out the rear box won't work for the grass. Calibrating the front 2 boxes. I've got all my settings written down, so now when I go to the field, just got to change the lever and go. Once we figure that out, I'll get back with you and let you know where we're at.